Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here today. After receiving some requests, I thought I would share what is now becoming a growing collection of my small physical culture museum from the Bronze and Silver era. I recently received a shipment from the UK and from the States, and some of these items are really rare and hard to find, so I'll go through some of these with you, seeing that some of you are so interested in this topic. Here we have the original iron shoe as sold by several companies. I guess you had the Wader version, you had the York version, this is actually the York barbell version of the iron shoe, the iron horseshoe that is. You also had one sold by Reg Park, and even by George F. Jowett, who apparently came up with the original idea, and then it was stolen from him and copied by Wader, York, and even Reg Park. But basically, this is a real strongman kind of stunt where you separate the aim is to separate the iron horseshoe as if you would be separating a real horseshoe. So it develops grip strength and I guess also your scapula, because it's all about pulling the horseshoe apart, and you can adjust it by removing the bolts here and removing the screws, the springs and the screws. So you remove the screws and then you would remove a spring, and then you would be maybe left with one spring. Work with one spring first. As you can see, it's got two springs, and then later on add another spring, and so on. I guess you could even drill holes in this and add even more springs. I know that online there is one new version which beats them all, and although it's new, it is the hardest iron horseshoe in history because it has up to 7 springs. That's the iron horseshoe. As you can see, I've also got several Sandow developers, which were basically the chest expanders but with weighted dumbbells. So Sandow actually came out with many different products, and what I was delighted to see, although this box is very old, with its own extremely old casing, it's all in pieces literally. I have to really be careful with this kind of stuff. But inside we find another variety of the Sandow developer, or the Sandow chest expander. So initially Sandow, he came out with all these different types. These basically could be removed. These handles, you can see it's broken off. The actual the cables have actually, which are made of rubber, are so old. These are like 100 years old. They've broken off, but you can actually remove the dumbbell, very nice nickel plated dumbbell, and actually use it like a dumbbell as shown here. So these are actually the same ones but removed, and these weigh about a kilo and a half. These probably weigh a little bit more actually. Yeah, these actually weigh a little bit more. So yeah, he came out with all these different types of combined chest expanders. I did a video already on one of these called Eugene Sandow's Chest Expander and the Art of Strand Pulling. But what I didn't mention was that he had all these different types. And so the one I showed previously was very similar to this one, which actually also contains Eugene Sandow's signature. Right? The person that actually sold this to me didn't even know who this person was, so he really doesn't know what he actually sold me, and I actually got it for a bargain, so I got lucky. But the one that I showed in the previous video was very similar, except that it had the signature on a spring grip dumbbell, which I'll show you in a minute. So you can see there's lots of different varieties. He actually came out with chest expanders purely, where you just grab and pull apart, but he also came out with some that had weighted handles like dumbbells, and others that had spring grip dumbbells. And so you could essentially work your grip, your arm strength, and your muscles in the muscles of the body all at the same time. Hence it was called the the Sandow combined developer. This was his improved version in combining all kinds of exercises together. That is the grip of the hand, the strength of the arm because you're carrying a dumbbell, and the muscles that pull and push, which is what the chest expansion exercises do. And within this box, there's a really nice catalog, Sandow's Easy Way to Strengthen Fitness, which shows you actually all the different types of chest expanders that he sold. And I really like this because it actually gives me the opportunity to now try and collect all of these and all the different types that he sold. As you can see, as I mentioned earlier, there were some lightweight grip dumbbells. There's some more heavier gripping dumbbells. You had just chest expanders alone with a handle with no gripping action involved, even foot stirrups which connect via the springs to do all sorts of full body exercises. There was just chest expanders themselves, so you had the full body developer, only the chest expander, gripping dumbbells, rowing machines, and even for ladies some kind of a slimming exercise shown here by this lovely nude model. But yeah, so great catalog, an excellent find for me because now I can really start finding out the differences between all the different equipment. Now if we move over, this by the way is the athlete model as shown here at the broken piece of this box which I need to stick on somehow. Now the collection is so big that I have to actually move the camera or move some of the equipment, which I'll do now. But I want to show you, I'm really proud of this particular chest expander that I acquired with this collection because it is literally in mint condition. So just move this, quite heavy, and bring this Sandow developer here. Oops, let's bring that right there. I opened the box. I mean, the box is in also excellent condition. And it comes with a really nice booklet. Beautiful, beautiful booklet. And it goes through the anatomy of the human body and the routines. The book is immaculate condition. And I might offer this also on my webpage because this is a full course on chest expansion by Eugene Sandow, different to the one that's up now, which is a full body routine. This is a different routine focusing only on the upper body using a chest expander. If you want this up, let me know in the comment section and I will upload it onto my website, the goldenerabookworm.wixsite.com website. Anyway, as mentioned before, I really like this particular chest expander because it is in mint condition, no rust whatsoever. I mean, I got lucky with this. This is just in beautiful condition. And steel spring chest expanders are extremely hard to find. Unfortunately, this does not contain the Sandow inscription on it, but nevertheless, it is in such a fantastic shape that I am just over the moon with this purchase. Besides that, I have another Sandow developer. This time, I'll show you if I can just move this over. Again, the boxes unfortunately are in horrible condition, but nevertheless, they are historic. I mean, they're falling to bits, unfortunately. The more I handle them, the worse it is. And you can see in here, this one was a variety as shown in this catalog. Remember I showed this catalog earlier with the spring grip dumbbell. Well, there it is. That's this version right here. And this one actually, and I'm very pleased to show you, actually contains the Sandow inscription. So this is a very nice developer. It's a combined as it says here, Sandow's own combined developer improved model, extra strong for athletes, a complete athletic outfit. So you would, again, in this case, you would grip the already weighted dumbbell. This weighs already at least a kilo, kilo and a half. You would grip it and then do the chest expansion exercises. Again, because of time, these rubber cables are breaking apart, so there's no point in demonstrating the exercises using this one, although it's in fairly good nick. So I am glad I acquired it. Yeah, let's just get that in properly. All of this stuff is very fragile. Finally, I'd like to go through two other pieces that came with this collection that was sold to me, and that is another type of expander outfit called the Lewis expander outfit. Now I'm really excited about this one. First, let's read the cover. Jack Lewis, the living king of bodybuilders. Wow, that's a big statement, right? The Lewis expander wonder outfit, British made, complete with leg developer and the famous course of instruction. Well, unfortunately, the instruction manual didn't come with this, but I bought it separately, and I'll probably upload it as well onto my website. Taking care of the box and removing it, we find a really interesting expander set. Very different in design. You can see that it's got these kind of egg-like, three egg-like kind of gripping handles, not weighted at all like the dumbbell handles that you can find on the Sandow expanders. But what's really interesting is that when I put this aside, this one actually contains foot stirrups, as you can see here. So you would literally stand on these foot stirrups and hook the cables here onto the expander set. Here's another one that's already actually connected onto the expander set. As you can see, there's the foot stirrups connected to the expander set. And this expander set again is in wonderful condition. And you would get a different form of exercise here, because with chest expansion, you're essentially only moving in a horizontal plane, right? Whether you change the angle up and down, there's not much more variety there. But with foot stirrups, now you actually can even increase the resistance and have a greater range of motion and a greater flexibility in the performance of exercises. So it's a great expander set from Jack Lewis, the Jack Lewis expander wonder outfit. And to be honest, it looks like a copy of the Sandow model, but then again, you don't know. One doesn't really know who copied who back then. Interesting nonetheless, the acquisition of these really cool and old, damn, this is hard to fold in, old expander sets. Something like that we'll have to do. Finally, the last piece of equipment I would like to share with you today is, if I can close this carefully without breaking it, because again this stuff is so fragile, and this is really cool. The original York iron boots, you can actually read it there, the York iron boot. These things are goddamn massive, I mean, and they weigh like 5 kilos each. It's unfortunately the second one is broken, so I'll have to have it welded. Yeah, but these are probably bigger than the weighted ones. Obviously not as well made, unfortunately, but nevertheless they're quite heavy. I don't like the design as much either, mainly because if you thread, the idea of this was to strap this heavy piece of metal onto your foot, which would sit on top. The heel would sit here, and you would strap it around your foot, and this alone would already train your legs. But then to go one step further, let's say you are doing hamstring curls or leg presses on the floor, because remember back then there are no machines, or leg extensions, you would then put a dumbbell here. But the problem is that the dumbbell can easily slip out because it's just a hole, right? So the only way that you actually secure the dumbbell was through this, basically putting a screw through here. Not the safest way, I would say, because that if your barbell or dumbbell is heavy enough, it could easily bend or break the screw. But yeah, that's the York iron boot. I hope you've enjoyed anyway having a look at my small collection of my increasingly growing physical culture museum. All this equipment, as you obviously realize, is from the early, or actually could be as late 1800s and early 1900s. I wouldn't say that any of this equipment is older than 1940. Definitely from the 1930s, 1920s, and even earlier. Most likely the very early 1900s. Hope you've enjoyed looking at my collection. If you have, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Leave me a comment, and thank you for watching this lengthy presentation. If you've lasted to the end, if you want me to continue acquiring such pieces of equipment and display them to you, this does cost a lot of money, so please feel free to donate on PayPal or become a patron. As you can see, this is how I spend the money that I earn from my YouTube accounts and my websites. Speaking of websites, I am starting slowly to upload scans of these original booklets from Eugene Sandow, as shown here, the courses that he taught through these home gym pieces of equipment, and these are available on goldenerabookworm.wixsite.com/website for you collectors and people that are interested in the history of bodybuilding. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you've enjoyed a look at my small physical culture museum. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now.